is Rachel, and I will tell you that one of the things I hear very often from parents is that they have trouble getting on the same page with their spouse or whoever they're raising their children with. In fact, they tell me that sometimes their biggest arguments are on how to handle situations related to the kids. And because I hear this so often, I want to share a tip with you, and then I'm going to show you what this tip actually looks like in action. But the tip is that when you are arguing a lot with a co-parent, with a spouse, it's usually not about the issue itself. It's about the yuck that is raised with the issue. So what happens is when we talk about something, we usually often get triggered by it. And I will tell you that parents are often triggered by fears and by feelings of overwhelm. And so we go into yuck, and what happens is when we are in yuck, our fight or flight response kicks in, and we can't access the part of the brain that allows us to compromise and find solutions and see another person's perspective. So as adults, we can do that normally, but if we are in yuck, we are unable to do that. So it's really not about the issue, it's about the yuck associated with the issue. So let me tell you what I mean by this. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a mom and a dad, and someone's birthday party is coming up, a family member's birthday party. And the mom is saying, we have to make the kids come with us. And the dad is saying, no, we can't make the kids come with us. And they're arguing, should we make the kids come? Should we not make the kids come? Now, it's really not about whether the kids go to the party or not. It's really about the fears associated with this. For example, mom may be afraid that if the kids don't come, everyone's going to talk about them, that the kids should be there and why didn't they bring the kids? And there's going to be a lot of gossip. And that's something she doesn't want to have to deal with. Now, the dad may be afraid because his parents made him come to things. He got really resentful, and as he got older, he rebelled more. So he's afraid that if they make the kids come to the birthday party, they're going to rebel. The resistance actually comes from both of their fears, from both of their yuck. And that's what prevents them from actually listening to the other person. They're both so insistent because they don't want their fears to come true. Whereas if we worked on those fears, if we focused on the yuck, things would be different. They'd be able to compromise or find a solution that worked for their family. So how do you figure out what your yuck is or what your fear is, if that's what it is? You just simply ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen, or what will happen if my perspective isn't heard? That's going to tell you your yuck. So again, this mom would say, well, I'm afraid if I don't make the kids come, people will talk about me. Dad would say, well, I'm afraid if we do make the kids come, they will resist us more later and things will get more negative later. So ask yourself that question and then resolve that issue. So mom can work on not worrying so much about what other people think. I have lots of strategies that actually help with that phenomenon, but if mom works on that issue, she isn't going to be so insistent that the kids come to the party. If dad works on his fears that the kids will be resistant in the future, he's not going to be so insistent on his perspective now. So again, it's really about we're fighting and unable to see the other person's point of view because we're worried about what might happen, or we're overwhelmed. If the kids don't help out more around the house, then it falls on us and we're already overwhelmed. It's all about the yuck. So what I encourage you to do when you don't agree with your spouse is for you each to say, what do I think will happen if my point of view isn't heard, and address that issue. If you want to know a little bit more and hear another example of what this might look like to get closer to the same page with your co-parent or spouse, I encourage you to listen to my latest podcast episode. You can hear that. You can find that on my website, rachel-bailey.com/98, and I will be back with more tips for you. Take care.